Okay, hello and welcome everyone to the regular April 25th Town Council meeting. We'll start with the adoption of the agenda. I'll be looking for a motion to adopt the agenda. Thank you, Councillor Warwa. Is there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Next up is the adoption of the minutes of our last March the 14th council meeting. Councillor Barry makes the motion. Any errors or omissions within those minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. First up on our agenda tonight is something that I've never done before, so hopefully I can get really good at this someday. I should turn my phone off in case it rings in the middle of this, right? That would just be horrifying. It is fitting that as we celebrate National Volunteer Week in Canada, I've been granted the opportunity to present a Vegreville resident with one of the highest honors a volunteer in this country can receive, the Sovereign's Medal for Volunteers. At this time, I'd like to ask Joyce Stewart up to the podium, please. Or there, folks. Just come on over here. Let me turn this one on. The Sovereign's Medal for Volunteers recognizes exceptional volunteer achievements from across the country and abroad, celebrating a wide range of voluntary contributions. It is an official honor created by the Crown and is part of the Canadian honors system. For nearly 5 years, you, Joyce, have devoted her life to helping others. As a lifetime member of the Royal Canadian Legion, a dedicated member of her church, and a caring teacher, to name but a few of her various roles. She has supported children, patients, veterans, and many others from all walks of life in her community. It is for those reasons and many more that on behalf of Her Excellency the Right Honourable Mary Simon, Governor-General of Canada, I am proud to present Joyce Stewart in recognition of her significant volunteer contributions with the Sovereign's Medal for Volunteer.
Well, I think there's many more like me that haven't had the opportunity, or somebody that won't, be named, write up a citation.
He's a very lucky man. So this is your display. You have one that you can wear, an extra one that you can wear on your lapel of your jacket.
Okay.
This, and plus we have a letter from Mrs. Simon, and this all goes along with your award. So
yes,
I was supposed to shake your hand, but I thought a hug would be better. And again, on behalf of the citizens of Vegreville and Council, thank you very much for all of you've done for this community.
well, I enjoyed doing it.
Well, thank you. You're a lucky guy, Rod.
That's what I've been told. Just for the record, I just had a birthday and I got a t-shirt from her sister and her niece that says that. So when I look at my wife, I think to myself, dang, she's a lucky woman.
Well, it's Joyce's day today, Rod. That one won't make it onto the TV. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Now, it's up to you if you'd like to stay and watch the rest of this exciting meeting.
I was starting to make plans, but with all respect to Wild and Company, I hear you're getting a financial report. As Colette once said, we're not dull people, we just like dull things.
Well, I'll tell you right now, Rod, that's the last thing that Kyle is dull, and he's given these.
Just repeating what I heard.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is Wild and Company. Okay.
Well, I'll try not to be too dull.
No pressure.
So much pressure now of being up here other than hiding through COVID. So I think everyone received the memo and the financial statements, right?
Is there anybody that
Council
hasn't
packages?
received them? Justin, you got them? Councillor Curtis, sorry. Okay, yes, we all recognize that we've all received them.
Okay, good. So first off, though, I want to start off by thanking Megan, Chris, the staff of the town, a very, very competent group, and it's always a pleasure to deal with those people. Everyone is very accommodating and very competent, so thank you. So a few new counselors, a few new admin staff. So I just want to give you a little bit of a rundown of what we're going to do here. So Megan, I understand you've presented the financials already at the ledge meeting, so I won't give you that dull presentation as well. We'll just go through a little bit the actual audit report, and then we'll go through the risk assessment and kind of what the steps that we do, kind of what does the audit entail. So we'll start with the audit report on the financial statements. So I just want to go through here what your management's responsibility is and what our responsibility as auditors are. So management's responsibility, responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the consolidated financial statements in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting standards and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of consolidated financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. So that's the one main responsibility of management. Also responsible for assessing the town's ability to continue as a going concern and responsible for overseeing the town's financial reporting process. So that is your responsibility. And then our responsibility on the next page is, as auditors, is to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the consolidated financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Identify and assist the risks of material misstatement of the consolidated financial statements, obtain an understanding of internal control, evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management, conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of going concern basis of accounting, and evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the consolidated financial statements, including disclosures. So those are our responsibilities, and the first one was to included the issuance of an audit report on the financial statements. So if you look at the opinion in right at the first section of the audit report, so in our opinion, the accompanying consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the town at December 31st, 2021. So clean audit report, green lights in all areas, so everything is good to go. So then I'm going to move to the risk assessment and kind of what we do as part of our audit. So we start with materiality. So what materiality is? It's a risk. We do a risk-based audit report, or audit approach. Sorry, and materiality is the core of that. So we calculate materiality based on 3% of revenues, net of property tax requisitions. And so that for the year is calculated at $525,000. That's kind of, when we talk about material misstatement, that's what we're talking about, is that $525,000 materiality amount. So from there, we use professional judgment and other risk factors to develop performance materiality, which is a lower threshold for higher risk accounts. So then with the risk assessment document, then we'll just kind of go through some of these risk areas that we've outlined here. So First one, property tax. So some of the procedures that we complete there. Third-party summary confirmation is received to verify all assessment values. From there, mill rates from the bylaw are used to recalculate the expected property tax revenue. So from that, the expected amount is compared to the actual property tax requisition, and any significant differences are investigated. Property tax receivable aging is reviewed as well and compared on a year-over-year basis. Again, any variances in aging composition investigated. Next section, payroll. So payroll testing is performed on a random basis, a random sample of employees, sorry. Testing includes agreeing wage rate to a contract or a grid level to ensure that everyone's getting paid the proper rates. The net wage is then recalculated based on timesheets, the number of hours worked. Again, any discrepancies investigated. Plus, we also reconcile wages to T4 filings for the year. And the last step we do for payroll is a detailed analytic. So we calculate payroll on a randomly selected period. And then using that random period, by the number of employees in any other given period, we calculate the estimated payroll for each period throughout the year. Again, comparing to the estimated, again, any variances between actual and expected are investigated. Tangible capital assets. So all transactions are recorded in the general ledger for the year. We look at the entire general ledger. So all transactions over a specific materiality are investigated, as well as any irregular transactions and unusual journal entries. All of those items are investigated. Asset additions and disposals are tracked in a continuity schedule, and with any significant additions and disposals being vouched to supporting documentation, supporting invoices. Tangible capital asset continuity schedule is also audited for mathematical accuracy, and depreciation expense is recalculated for each asset class to ensure depreciation is being calculated in accordance with the town policy. Accounts receivable and government receivables as well. So the accounts receivable aging is compared year over year, and again, any material variance is investigated. Allowance for doubtful accounts also compared to accounts receivable balances from the aging summary. Again, allowances are also discussed with management, investigated. Material accounts receivable are vouched to all invoices, and grants receivable are confirmed with all grant providers. Year-over-year variances are also performed, with any material variances identified, discussed with management, and investigated further. Testing of cash receipts received after year-end. Material cash receipts received after year-end are agreed to all supporting invoices to ensure that reporting is accurate and in the right period. Accounts payable. Material accounts payable are vouched to invoices, and accounts payable aging analysis is also completed, with significant variances investigated again there as well. Year-over-year variance analysis is also performed, with any material variances identified being investigated. Invoices paid after year-end are tested to ensure the transaction was recorded in the correct period, as well as unpaid invoices at the time of the audit field work are also tested to ensure accurate reporting in the correct period. And then the last one's deferred revenue. So grant funding recognized as revenue in the year is compared to eligible expenses incurred in the year as well. And grant funding agreements again are reviewed to ensure compliance. Deferred revenue continuities are reviewed in application of funding to specific expenditures or projects are agreed to invoices. All material grant funding is agreed to third-party confirmations received from grant providers. And grant funding receivable at year-end is confirmed with the third-party grant provider to ensure that grants receivable are recorded in the correct fiscal period. So those are some of the, or many of the audit procedures that we do in order to protect you guys as council and all the ratepayers as well, so that the financial records of the town are being appropriately used. So, again, Megan, Chris, thank you again. It's always a pleasure working with the team at the town, so thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Kyle?
Everyone's still awake?
Hey, you're getting a lot better at this guy.
Well, Carla was sick today, so it would have been her.
Well, I
doing
figured
so
it was, but I was wondering why when I walked in to see you there, I was like, wow. I had a nice conversation with you.
Flying
the other
solo
day.
today.
Okay. Well, if that's the report and there's no questions, we want to thank Wild and Company and yourself and Carla too and we know that Director Saskew used to be our auditor here, and it's nice having her on board to support your audit, and it's just nice having Wild and Company here in town, and you guys have been our auditor since the beginning of time, I would imagine, so.
Yeah.
It's very nice that we have this relationship this close, so.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks.
Okay, you have any questions? No?
So
Okay.
then the last thing I'll need if you can get me the council motion approving the financial statements, and then we'll get everything finalized, the financial information return filed for you guys tomorrow, and get everything finalized.
Excellent.
Okay? Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Renee, do you want to quote for me? Because we're going to go into closed session midway for something real special, but we can't wait till the end of the meeting. So we're going to shut down the doors, but do you want to quote for me, get anything right now?
Not at the moment. James could probably text me when they go back in or something. Or how long is this?
I can text her afterwards,
Okay.
because it's gonna go back into.
It's going to go back in. We're going to cover all these other bylaws and stuff. There's a long agenda after this.
Yeah.
So, but we can wait for sure. I mean, we'll go into this closed session and then we'll send you back a text when we're open the doors again, and you can come back in.
Sure.
Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Nothing to do with the audit, okay?
Scaring them a little.
So I'd like to take a motion that we go into closed session, and this is under the Foytback Division 2, Section 225, disclosure of meaningful to economy and other interest of a public body. Councillor Bullock makes the motion at 7:17. All those in favor? Carried.